Hi everyone, this is my video on the science of baking powder. So what is baking powder? Baking powder essentially is a chemical leavening agent, and that just means that it makes different baked goods rise by releasing carbon dioxide gas. So the ingredients of baking powder consist of a mixture of sodium bicarbonate, which is a base, and one or more acids like sodium aluminum sulfate or monocalcium phosphate, with the addition of a starch as well to keep it stable. So now that we've talked about what baking powder does and what the ingredients are in it, now we can actually talk about how it works. So when a baking powder is mixed with a liquid, the acid and base dissolves and reacts with each other. And this reaction then releases carbon dioxide gas. And the carbon dioxide gas forms bubbles in the batter or dough, which then become trapped inside the mixture's structure. And so as the product heats up in the oven, these gas bubbles are able to expand and cause the batter to rise to get that light, airy texture that we want in baked goods like muffins, cakes, pancakes, different things like that. So now I'm just going to show a demonstration of me mixing some baking powder with water. So first, the water is able to dissolve the acid and the base both, which lets them react with each other, and then you can see in the video the bubbles forming, and that is the product of the reaction, carbon dioxide gas being released. And then I just wanted to add a little bit more baking powder so that the bubbles and the carbon dioxide that is being released is able to be shown very clearly. After watching that demonstration, it's pretty clear why baking powder is super important as a leavening agent in baking and getting the texture that we want. So here's a comparison of two different muffins, one that was cooked with baking powder and one that had no baking powder. So in the batter with the baking powder, the carbon dioxide is released during mixing and then again during baking, allowing it to expand the air pockets in the batter and make the muffin rise. And then the muffin without the baking powder, there's no gas production, so that muffin can't rise when baking, and you can see that it's very dense and not as light and airy and fluffy as the one on the top. So now I wanted to go over the two main types of baking powder. So there's single acting, which releases gas as soon as it's mixed with a liquid, and then there's double acting, which is what most modern baking powders are. And so they have two different acids. One of them is a fast acting acid that reacts when it first comes into contact with the liquid, and then a slow acting acid that reacts only when the batter is heated in the oven to provide a second boost of that leavening effect. So in this baking powder that I have, the monocalcium phosphate reacts immediately, and then the sodium aluminum phosphate is the one that reacts later when it is heated for that extra boost. Here are my references, and thank you so much for watching my video.